Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Tucker. I've got video hints for 20-day tax plan days 5 and 6. This one will be under 15 minutes. All right, here are my hints for day 5. Number 1 says find the volume of a triangular prism whose length is 5, base is 4, and its height is 8. Okay, so we got the prism here. It's all labeled. Don't forget, it's a triangular prism, and what they do is they tend to knock it over on its side, but the base is still a triangle. See the word triangle? That names the shape of the base. If you look on your formula chart, volume of a triangular prism, it says V equals capital B times H, where capital B is the area of the base, and the base is a triangle. So to calculate the area of the triangle, you're going to take the base of 4 times the height of 8, divide that by 2. That's what goes in for big B, multiply by 5. Your units are going to be in centimeters cubed. Number 2, Lucy bought a car for $3,199.50 and a CD player for $129, including tax. How much will her payments be if she wants to pay it off in 14 equal payments? Add the two amounts together, divide by 14. Number 3, simplify the following expression, 8 to the negative third multiplied by 8 to the fourth. If your bases are the same, you add your exponents. So you're going to take 8, and you're going to take your two exponents and add them together, and you get 8 to the what power? All right. Number 4, Joy has a map of Texas that uses a scale of 1 inch equals 2.5 miles. I've set up my word ratio. I've filled in the numbers. 1 inch is the same as 2.5 miles. The map indicates that Fort Worth to Dallas is 24 inches. How many miles is that? Where does the 24 inches go in this proportion? That's right. Put an X down here, cross multiply to solve. Or there might be other ways you can solve. Number 5, the area of a square is 121 square meters. This is 121 square meters. What's the side length of the square? Well, what number times itself gives you that area of 121? All right, and the units are going to be in meters. Number 6, express this number in scientific notation. This is a really large number, so the exponent on your 10, what's it going to be, positive or negative? That's right, it's a positive. Move your decimal point so that the number is between 1 and 10. Put your decimal point there and just count how far you moved it. That's going to be your exponent. Number 7, Larry tosses 3 coins. What's the probability that all 3 coins lands tails up? What's the probability that the first coin lands tails up? Yep, that's 1/2. What's the probability that the second coin lands tails up? Yep, that's 1/2. What's the probability that the third one's going to land tails up? Yep, 1/2. How do you find the probability of all those things happening at the same time? You multiply them all together. Tops times tops, bottoms times bottoms. Number 8, find the total surface area of the box, which has a length of 8 centimeters, a width of 4 centimeters, and a height of 3 centimeters. That box is a rectangular prism. Draw a picture and label it correctly, because if you're using the formula, you have to know what numbers you use for the base and which one's your height if you're using the formula. The formula for surface area of a rectangular prism says perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 base areas. All right, so perimeter of your base. Here's the area of your base. Your units are going to be in centimeters squared. If I'm going too fast, you can stop the video. Stop the video, do the work. Number 9, a bicycle wheel travels about 38 inches in one full rotation. What's the diameter of the wheel to the nearest inch? On our formula chart, one of our clue words for circumference was rotation. One rotation is the same as one circumference. So use your circumference formula. Put in 38 for your circumference. You know what to use for pi. Back calculate your D, your diameter. Number 10, Mr. Wong's monthly phone bill for local and long distance can be found using the equation C, which stands for cost, equals $15 a month plus 5 cents for every minute. That's what that means. C equals 15 plus 0.05 M, where M represents the number of minutes of long distance calls he made. Find the total charge when he makes 95 minutes of long distance calls. All right, well, 95 minutes is your M. Put 95 in here, multiply by this. Last step is to add 15. That'll give you the total charge. And that's day 5. Here's day 6. I know this is kind of messy, but we'll take it a step at a time. And some of this you can't see. Okay, I'll fill in the blanks. Number 1, boy, this is a hard-hitting problem. This is like a 5-step question. 2 friends split the cost of a CD, and I made myself a reminder right here that in the end, don't forget to divide by 2. They're going to split the cost of the CD. Don't forget the last steps to divide by 2, which has a list price of $16. They have a 20% off coupon, and they paid 8.25% sales tax. How much did each friend pay? Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what your discounted price is. They'll always take off the discount first before they calculate the tax. So we need to calculate our discount amount. I need to know what 20% of $16 is. You can either set up percent proportion, 20 over 100 equals X over 16. I know that's kind of off your page there. Or do you remember the 10% trick? Do you know how to take 10% of 16? Do you remember you just slide your decimal point to the over once? If 10% of 16 is $1.60, what's 20% of 16? Yeah, if you don't know how to do that, you set up your percent proportion. Once you solve for X, you know what your discount amount is. What do you do with a discount amount? Yeah, in step 2, you take your $16 regular price and subtract your discount amount. That gives you your discount. And I know you can't see it very well. I was calling that question mark. Question mark is my discount amount. Step 3. Now we have to add on the sales tax, so I need to calculate my tax amount. They told me my tax percent was 8.25%. I put that over 100. I put my whole down here, part over whole. My whole is my discounted price that I just calculated. Put T or X right here. We're going to calculate the tax amount by cross multiplying. Okay, once you get your tax amount, what do you do with the tax? Yeah, in step 4, take this discounted price here that I call question mark and add your tax to it. That gives you the final price of that CD. You think we're done? No, because we still have to split it between 2 friends. So take your total price that has the discount removed but the tax added in, divide it by 2. This is a 5-step question. Could they put this on the STAR test? Oh, yes, they could. They sure could. Number 2, this is a simple interest problem, and since it's no longer on the formula chart, I'm assuming I don't have to teach it. Number 3, express 5.6 times 10 to the 7th in standard notation. Well, since the exponent of 7 is positive, that's going to make this a big number. I need to take 5.6 and move that decimal point 7 places which way to make it a big number. Okay, number 4. 4 friends agreed to split the cost of going to a concert. That right there, I have to make myself a note because I might forget. They're splitting the cost. 4 friends are. We're dividing by 4 in the end. They spent $125.50 for tickets and $75.70 for snacks, travel, and t-shirts. How much did each person pay? Add those 2 numbers together and then do what? Yep, divide by 4. Number 5, Brad bought 2 dozen marbles for $2.25. How much did each marble cost? Well, how many are in a dozen? Yeah, there's 12 marbles in a dozen. So how many marbles do I have in 2 dozen? Yeah, this right here is going to be 24. So it's $2.25 for 24 marbles. The cost for each marble will take $2.25 and divide by 24. All right. Number 6, a ladder. Hey, there's a clue word right there. A ladder that is 10 feet long leans against a building. The bottom of the ladder is 6 feet away from the base of the building. How far up the side of the building does the ladder reach? Okay, if it's leaning, it just made a right triangle. I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. My longest side, my hypotenuse, is my c. Go through that, do h squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. Or do you remember Pythagorean triples? Your most basic right triangle is a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. What happens if you take those dimensions and multiply by a scale factor of 2? What do you get? Number 7, what's your mode? Which one shows up the most? Number 8, find the lateral surface area of a round container, that's a cylinder, that has a height of 12 centimeters and a radius of 5. Go to your formula chart, find lateral surface area for a cylinder. You get this. They gave you the radius, they gave you the height. You know what to use for pi. Number 9, a cone has a radius of 1 centimeter and a height of 3 centimeters. What is the volume? It's a cone. On your formula chart, the volume of a cone says this, where capital B is the area of the base. What's the shape of the base of a cone? Yeah, it's a circle. So to find the area of a circle, you use pi radius squared. So it's going to be pi radius squared multiplied by the height divided by 3. Last question, number 10. Joe saved $22.50 when he bought a TV that was on sale. If the sale price was 30% off the regular price, what was the regular price of the TV? You know, this is one of those where you might not know what to do, but they gave me a percent, and I know what to do with a percent. That's over 100. So I'm going to put 30 over 100. The only other number they gave me was $22.50. That's the amount he saved. If I'm doing part over whole, is $22.50 the whole price of the TV? No, that's his savings amount. So if 30% is your savings percent, then your part has to be your savings amount. So $22.50 goes up here. You're solving for the whole down here. Okay? That's not your bell. Anyway, good luck with this, guys.